Do I look like a pick-me? No.
How you gonna be a pick-me?
Act bad.
But the thing is, simps. No one likes simps, men or women.
Mm-hmm.
But men like pick-me. Men don't call women pick-me's.
It's only other women call women pick-me's.
Yeah, men don't call it. She's doing things that men won't want. Why would you make fun of that?
But the pick-me thing is about her trying to get picked. Is she picked? If men like her, why she ain't picked yet?
You're assuming she ain't picked. Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Buffet Podcast. Yeah, and I am your host, one of them, Brandan, joined by the incomparable Ciandra. He's back. Welcome to episode 97.
Dang, we're getting closer and closer to 100.
We're getting closer and closer. Episode 97. And, before we get started, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe so we can go ahead and push the video out to other people and get this algorithm working for us.
You can't remember what you was about to say.
I couldn't. I scrambled at the last second. I said, we got some new people and we got, subscribers. We got a few more subscribers and stuff like that. We're trying to get that first 100 real quick. I said, we're trying to get that compound interest. First you get 100, then you get 5, then you get 10,000. It's a little bit. Come on, y'all. Help us out.
Big compound. The math.
The math don't matter.
500, 10,000.
That's super compounded. But yeah, we sped it up a little bit. Because, you know what I'm saying?
We just like that.
We like that. All right. We ready? Ready to hop into it? You got a clip ready for us? Or you want me to drop? Oh, you already connected.
I am already connected.
She has the power today.
I do have the power.
All right. We're going to get right into the boosh.
Is this?
Man, I'm so glad this brother said this.
Hold on.
I'm scared to lose my wife. And that's what it is. I love my wife a lot, but I'm scared to lose.
Man, I'm so glad this brother said this because let me tell y'all something. I love my wife with the deepest chambers of my heart. I'm talking soul. Listen. I could think of nothing worse than losing my wife. Like I'm literally nowhere near the man that I was before I met her. And I mean that in a negative to positive way. Listen, man, there is nothing my wife can ask me for that I will, listen, I go to the ends of listen, y'all don't understand, man. You don't. My wife is the completion to my puzzle, the beat to my heart, like my sunrise. Listen, John Wick ain't got shit on me if you try to come between me and my wife. I'm dead serious.
I'm scared.
Okay, he was bringing back that 90s R&B energy. He was bringing back that 90s R&B love on the knees in the rain. Please energy. I'm not mad at it though. I mean, shit, he love his wife.
Well, I guess my thought process in hearing that is the fear part of it.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, look at it.
That's what I heard is like, I'm afraid to lose my wife or I'm afraid to lose my partner. And I'm curious to hear from you what you think about that particular part of it, the fear.
Well, first of all, I like to say my guy, the one who was R&B singing but talking, he reminded me of Corey Holcomb for some reason.
Oh, I can kind of see that.
Face, but I just had to say
Corey
that.
Holcomb's so grrr.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
it's the personality that makes him look.
The things that come out of Corey's mouth is like complete opposite. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but when I first heard him say, I'm afraid of him, I was like, what did you do? When we first hear that.
You think men always got to do something. I'm on your side, brothers. Look at him.
Yeah, because I mean, when you say stuff like that, I mean, people don't say I'm afraid to lose something when things are going well, unless she's like sick or something like that. In the sense of like, I'm afraid like she's gonna like leave this earth type situation. But on one hand, I can see, like he's just saying, like he really just doesn't want to lose his his wife, and the idea of it terrifies him. On the other, that whole fear-based, I don't know, mentality, I guess I would worry that, you fear it so much that you kind of bring it about. And you know what I mean? So like you fear, so like, what is his behavior different because he has that fear? And what is that, what is that fear? So it's kind of like, it kind of reminds me of a situation where, like, if you are worried that, like, your partner is going to cheat on you, your behavior will reflect that. You're going to be asking them all these questions all up on them or her, looking through their phone, doing all, just being kind of like very suspicious. And then if so facto, they leave you because, like, they don't want to put up with that. Mm-hmm. So I guess I would wonder if that fear-based part of his statement is real. How does that manifest within the relationship?
Yeah, I hear that. I definitely think it could manifest in a positive way. Yeah. The fear could be rooted in, like, not wanting to take for granted what this person has done for you, what they mean to you and to your life. And so that fear may cause you to be more conscientious of how you're behaving towards them and, like, how much appreciation you're showing towards them. And because you're afraid, like, you recognize what you have. And so you're afraid that, one, somebody else could recognize what it is that you have and desire that thing, and then come to try to take that thing or try to ruin what it is that you have. And two, you recognize that because this person is who they are to you and what they've done for you, to protect what you have, you need to pour into it and make sure that fear never becomes actualized. So I see it both ways. I definitely get what you're saying. And when I first heard it, I was like, I don't know if I want somebody to be afraid to lose me. Don't put yourself in that position.
It's giving insecurity. I can already hear the comments. It gives insecurity. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if you look through the comments.
I did not look through the comments.
I don't know. It just reminds me of, like, if this was reposted to, like, Shade Room or something like that, what would the comments say about it? But yeah, I guess I would wonder. I guess to your point, is he not confident in the strength of the relationship? If not, why? But of course, we could just be speaking. We don't know the particulars of his relationship, but we're just going off of just the verbiage that he used, and based off that, it doesn't sound like there's a lot of confidence in the viability of the relationship, at least from on his mind. Like, his wife could be like, hey, ain't everything good? That, and also, I don't know the context of that first part of the clip, because the guy came in and he clipped that, and he could have took it in a whole different direction, and he could have been talking about, I'm afraid to lose my wife because I did X, Y, and Z, da 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 da. So I don't know. I don't have enough information.
Okay, you need some more context. The other thing that I was thinking of as it relates to this, there was, like, an interview that Sierra and Russell Wilson did a while ago, and I guess she asked him what his biggest fear was, and he said, like, his biggest fear was losing her. And I'm curious if in that situation or scenario, if it's the same thing, like if it's like a fear and insecurity thing, or if it's like just I recognize how much you mean to me, what you do for me, what you add to my life, and I'm afraid to lose that. And if a healthy level of fear is a good thing to have in a relationship. Like, does that keep you on your P's and Q's? Like, if you're more cognizant of the fact that this person has options, that they have left other relationships, that they will leave you if things don't go the way that they're anticipating them going. If you have that healthy level of fear, does that keep you motivated to do right?
I can't hold you on that one. Our argument could be made. I think it could. And hearing you say that, I think it could.
I mean, because you have a healthy level of fear of your parents, right? Like, you know that they're going to provide for you, that they're going to do all of the things that you need in order to be able to sustain yourself. But for the things that you want, you know that there's a line that you can't cross. There's certain things that you shouldn't do in order to make sure that you get what you want from them. Right. And if you do something outside of the bounds of the rules, you know that there will be a consequence. Now, granted, your parents aren't going to leave you. hopefully, but you recognize that there's like a line that you shouldn't cross, and once you cross that line, there's a consequence, and that consequence is that the person leaves. But I guess in a relationship, it works more on the positive. Like the more deposits that I make, like I told you, you have to have 5-to-1 positive to negative interactions with someone in order for a relationship to be considered thriving. The more positive interactions I have, the more deposits I'm making, I'm feeling good. This one negative interaction, I recognize like now, even now, that puts something in jeopardy, or like now the scale is a little bit unbalanced and I have to do more to get us back to a place of good. Strike fear in you, fear in your heart.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that. I hear that. But also don't necessarily. Yeah, I just also don't think like a fear-based mentality leads anywhere positive. I guess like I think fear is only good in the short term. I mean, so like fear may keep you there, keep you doing, keep you acting right temporarily, but like whatever, it's not sustainable. Like the fear at some point, the fear is going to fall away or it's going to turn into something else, in my opinion. Hold on a second. All right, and we're back. Had a quick technical difficulty. Let us get right back into it. So yeah, I was saying about fear is a really good short-term motivator, but I would question its long-term effectiveness if that is the. I mean, that is true. While that is true, at the same time, I understand like the primal fear of losing somebody that you love. So like in hearing like, so I say all that, and it could also be that. If you ask me the question, like, what is my worst fear? My worst fear would be losing you. That doesn't mean I fear for the relationship. That doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything negative going on, or anything like that. But I could fear the idea of walking through this life without you by my side.
That's beautiful.
So, yeah. Right now, what I said before is still valid, and I agree with 100%. And if that was what if that's the mentality that they're under, in the sense of like that fear based, I don't think is good, long term. But on the other side of that, just on like I'm a man and who loves his woman, I can understand that is a valid fear of yours. Like with you, I do feel like that is a nightmare for me. That idea, and then once we have kids, the idea of losing that will be fucking catastrophic. That'd be wild. So in that sense, I can definitely understand where they're coming from. That the idea of losing somebody, the person that you love, your partner, is a valid fear. In the sense, in the sense of like you no longer being in my life, but not in the sense of I fear that the relationship is going like to end.
Those are two different fears, and I respect that. I don't know, while we're talking about this, I don't know if I hear this from women. I don't know if I hear women say that I have a fear of losing my husband, and I don't know if I haven't necessarily.
That's a good point.
Diagnostic assessment of why that's happening, but I guess it's because men don't leave for real. Maybe that's why. It's like my man not finna leave. It's more fear. I think women have more fear based around like, will this man hurt me in a way that I will not be able to sustain, or like hurt me and break the trust in our relationship so much so that we won't be able to repair our relationship and move forward. So that's where like the fear of cheating comes in. The fear of I feel like it's probably just cheating. Like, and there's different levels of cheating, or like different consequences as a result of cheating. You cheat, you got me out here looking crazy because this girl's on Instagram. You cheat, you got me out here looking crazy because you got a side baby. You cheat, you got me out here looking crazy because you funding this whole girl's lifestyle. Like, it's all cheating is the big fish, but then all the other things that you come with it, can make it a little bit worse. So
that was one of the points I made in the panel that I was a part of with on Humble Dad. Shout out Humble Dad. Hope y'all caught it. Check it out if y'all haven't. I said the question was, what are some ways that would minimize the chances of your woman leaving you? And I said, don't embarrass her. That was one of my that was like my main answer. Cause I was like, most things are work outable, but as soon as this shit is in public, as soon as you put it out in for public consumption, where other people can chime in, whether that be family or friends or what have you, now that's a lot of other pressures involved. And now, you embarrassed her, and then, now she got to think about, oh, if I stay, what, the perception of me, what is it going to be like, out of there. And a lot of people, understandably so, can't take, that type of pressure. So it's like, if you kept it like on a low, no one knew, I think it's much easier for those type of fuckeries to be worked past and through eventually, as opposed to when you fuck up in front of everybody. Mm-hmm. So like one of the, like, if as long as you embarrass her, you have a decent to good chance that you could probably work through it. It's gonna be some strain. I'm not saying that you're gonna be Gucci at the end of it, or everything's gonna go smoothly, but I say you have a decent enough chance to repair and do what you need to do, as long as you want to do that. Mm-hmm.
No, I think you're right. That embarrassment piece is the straw that breaks the camel's back, because with the embarrassment comes the influence of other people. Not only am I experiencing it, but the people around me are experiencing it. They have opinions, they have perspectives. Mm-hmm. They're sharing those things with me.
Girl, I could never.
And the feeling is less about what you did, more about how my response to what you did says something about me. I would look stupid if I stood next to you while you did this to me. And so it takes a certain amount of character and like commitment to the relationship and commitment to like seeing it through to be able to stick with and stand beside people through certain things, because you gonna feel like you look stupid and you gonna have everybody else's opinion in your ear. But I feel like a major key to making sure that doesn't happen is make sure your business is your business.
I mean,
in this situation, I get that you can't control it, but I think like when you're willingly sharing information with other people about your relationship, you get that input, you get that perspective. You did that to yourself. Like you invited people into your relationship to give you an opinion and perspective. Now I get it. Sometimes we're looking for support. We're looking for validation of our feelings. We're checking to see if we're tripping or not. But the people that you're using as sounding boards need to have a healthy level of respect and, I guess, intentionality towards the health of your relationship that you may not be able to get from every single one of your friends. It's not that your friends don't care about you, but they don't necessarily care about the relationship, or they don't necessarily care about your partner and like all of the interworking parts. Like for them, if you are the priority,
I'm your friend. I'm not that nigga friend.
The advice that they're going to give you is what they think is going to best serve you, not your relationship, not your lifestyle. Like, what's going to best serve you? What do I think is the best thing for you to do? Or even sometimes, what would I do if I was in your shoes? And you and that person are two totally different people. So again, like, what am I seeking in sharing this with you? And how do I set the intention for what I'm hoping to get out of this conversation before I divulge whatever it is that I divulge? And do I have enough discernment to decide who needs to know what and who can actually respond to what I'm saying with the most intentionality for the success of my relationship and not just me?
An addendum to that is having to like be, I think we probably talked about that in like an earlier episode, or talked about this in an earlier episode about choosing or picking like the right people to, like you said, to divulge this information to. So like if I'm in a relationship, or I'm married or what have you, and I'm going through troubles and difficulties, and I choose to divulge just to be like, my boy, am I tripping or not? But then you talking to your Playboy friend, like their advice is not going to be the same as if I come to my one of my guy friends who's married and got a family and stuff like that. So I think you mentioned that there's a lot of, they're looking at you like you're my friend, so I'm trying to look out for you first and foremost. But I would think that a friend or a confidant or what have you who has similar circumstances as you, like they're also married, they also got a family, and all these things and connected, they also would take that more into consideration when it come in formulating their response to you, as opposed to somebody who's just, on their own single, living and moving single. So I personally think, I don't know if it's true or not, this is just like my own personal thought process on it. Is like, if I would ask my single friend and I would ask my married friend, I feel like I might get two different answers, or coming from a different way. So it's like, okay, well, I hear what you're saying personally, like, yo, that's fucked up, la da 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 da. You also, in this process, you also got to consider what the impact of this is going to be on, like, the family. Are you willing? Is that something that's on the table? Are you willing to do that? La da da. Versus your single friend could possibly just be like, yo, you just need to get up out of there, fuck everything else out of there, just clean break, start over or something like that. I could, I'm not leaving a lot of room from nuance in this, which I know that it will exist in real life.
It doesn't matter. That's the clip. That's what they're gonna take him run with. Yeah, he hates single people. Yeah, damn.
But I'm not. That's not necessarily anything bad about it. It's just what it is. Like, that's just the type of time you're on. You don't have you may not have the. That's not your experience, so you can't really speak to it. That's not a consideration that you've had to make before, so it's not going to come immediately to mind.
But
in my mind,
in your mind, I get that. But I also wonder if, because the married friend has shared similar experiences, if they're the better friend to go to and have your feelings be validated, as opposed to the friend to go to for advice, right? Because, like, I've been there, we experienced this. I totally get it. This is how I handled it. This is their advice, versus the single friend who adds value in the sense that maybe they are, one-sided and only focused on you, but they also could probably be very idealistic and, like, have a more rose-colored glasses view of relationships and offer you something that maybe your married friend won't offer, because they're not in the space where they're still wooing people or impressing people. So your single friend might be like, just do this, or like try to get her this thing, or have this new experience with her to infuse some newness into the relationship, or this is how you can solve the problem. So I say that to say that I think that there's value in both sets of advice. There's pros and cons to each, but I think that there's value in the single friend. And I think a lot of times we think that the single friend doesn't have anything to offer, but what they do offer is that, like, new, different perspective of, like, anything can happen, especially if it's a single friend who is desiring a relationship. Anything can happen in a relationship. You might need to be a little bit more forgiving. You might need to offer a little bit more grace. Maybe you should try it this way. Maybe you should do this other thing that is different perspective than what your married friend could offer, and just I've been through it and this is what we did.
That's true. I mean, ask both, talk to both, split the difference,
collect as much advice as you can. Because I was definitely a person who was like, you're not where I want to be. I don't want your advice, sweetie.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of a callback to, like, would you take financial advice from a homeless person?
Maybe.
I was like,
they didn't get broke on purpose, so they know some of the missteps they made.
They can. I'm assuming they can tell you the things that they did that you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
So just off of that might be a good move. So maybe I might listen to things not to do from them, and not necessarily things to do. But then again, in learning what not to do, they probably learned, I should have did this instead.
Yeah.
But yeah,
there's value.
Yeah. Everyone
has a little bit of value.
You can pull a little bit of value from out of it.
We can have a kiss.
That's how the clip is going. How we gonna start?
No.
This is gonna be the first scene.
No.
Kiss.
This kiss. I never asked you for a kiss. What do I look like? What's a female scent? A submissive?
No, we could pygmies.
Oh, pygmies. Do I look like a pick-me? No.
How you gonna be a pick-me?
Act bad.
But the thing is, simps, no one likes simps. Men or women. But men like pick-me. Men don't call women pick-me's.
It's only other women call women pick-me's.
Yeah, men don't call it. She's doing things that men won't want. Why will you make fun of that?
But the pick-me thing is about her trying to get picked. Is she picked? If men like her, why she ain't picked yet?
You're assuming she ain't picked.
She's given, I'm not picked.
How you know that? See, that's a story they tell themselves.
Well,
to feel better.
This is the thing that I feel about. Even though I feel like people don't, not all people who are in the world want to be married. I do think that people use marriage as a symbol of like you got picked or you didn't get picked.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, most of the world, that's literally what it is.
I agree, but I'm just saying in popular Black culture, that's not necessarily the bar that we're all aspiring to. So pick me's, I think either you need to have a man post it or you need to be married in order for us to know that you got picked. Why you ain't posting? What you got to hide?
Well, because they ain't got picked yet don't mean they don't want to be picked. And they trying to do the things to be picked.
Nah, you should have already been picked. You should have been doing that from the cradle. You should have jumped off the porch.
She's a pick me, but she got standards. You're saying pick me's don't have standards? They just take whatever?
Do they?
It's just like, hey, I'm gonna do the things that the man want me to do, but I want to do those things for the man I want.
That's valid. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Go ahead, get picked, girl. Do what you need to do, but don't put other people down in the meantime. I don't know if you needed to clap. We could have kept that in.
I still will.
It's just not synced.
I still may. Yeah, I just wanted to make it easier.
Maybe the first clip. Go ahead, girl. Do what you got to do. Get picked.
Get picked.
Pick me up. Pipe me down. To the left, to the right. Around town. Bleep pink. Bleep brown.
Going down. Trying to get the Uchi scratch.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have some common fears of relationships.
Okay, we're gonna get into it. Okay.
Here we go. 7 common relationship fears most people have early on but are hard to admit. Infidelity, which we already talked about. Mm-hmm. Intimacy, which I thought was an interesting one.
I can see that.
So it's a fear around feelings of fear and challenges connecting to someone, being able to open up and share your lives with someone. And usually it stems from early childhood experiences. Like, I don't know how to have a close, intimate relationship with somebody.
Oh, my mind went sex, but okay.
No, not that type of intimacy.
I know. As soon as you started talking, I was like, oh, you meant.
Which I feel like, I don't know if I feel like it's, no. I was gonna gender it and say like I feel like that's more so a fear for men, but I don't think that that's true.
No, I think that not. I absolutely think women fear more about you. Are we still talking about sex? Or are we talking about the regular intimacy?
We're talking about regular intimacy.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry, you're right.
Goodness me. I think that maybe it's more men that are like, I don't know how to do this, or I'm afraid to do this because I can't get this back. Y'all slang that dang-a-lang, but your feelings, I'm not really interested.
Yeah. How women guard their pum pum. That's how men guard their vulnerability and that stuff like that. Yeah. So it's like you only want, not by you, I mean women. Women only want to give it up to people who are worth it, I guess. Same thing for guys. We don't just want to be here being emotional whores. Just being vulnerable with everybody. Why would you do that?
Drop that guard, sweetie.
Yeah, just dropping guards all over the place. I can't afford that.
Break down the walls.
You can't be doing that. Because on the low, I think men are more sensitive about this type of stuff than women are. Just off the women are used to doing it, so they have familiarity. So like the pain, while they still feel pain and hurt and stuff like that, I think they're a little bit more resilient when it comes to like the emotional pain. But I think just guys build up an armor so things don't affect us. But when things affect us, I think it hits us a little bit harder. And I think we can kind of see it anecdotally, just like what would a hurt man do?
That's real. Like they be going through it.
A hurt man will kill the whole family. So yeah, I think on the low, I think men generally are much more sensitive about those type of things, and because of that, I think subconsciously we guard it more. So because we can't afford for the wrong person to hurt us, because a hurt man is like a shell of himself. They turn into something that no one wants to do. A hurt man is the destroyer of fucking nations. So nobody want to see that.
This is very real. A woman scorn is going to damage some material goods, but a hurt man, people might die.
People will die. Like, ain't nothing to play with. Ain't nothing to play with. Mm-hmm. So I think that is, a little bit of that playing into it. So yeah, I do agree that in general, guys are warier of exposing, of being that intimate. Even once they get into a relationship, it still takes time, to get to that place that their partner probably feels is appropriate for them to be. And it's like, I know things are good now, but anything can happen. You sure? I don't know. But I do think that once you get there, I think there was some of the women who've been able to unlock that in their men. I'm quite sure it's probably like the best shit ever. Mm-hmm. Everybody happy, flourishing, skin clearing up, and things of that nature.
I don't know. We'll check back in when we get there, y'all. We'll let you know how it is.
My skin has been clearing up. Your skin has been getting better. I think we still got some room for growth, of course, but follow us on our journey. Mm-hmm. All right, so we got 2 out of 7?
We got 2 out of 7. We got next the fear of abandonment, which
I think it kind of ties in
to what we were talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. It says in this article that it can relate to insecurity about yourself, a past experience of loss, a lack of support or consistency from your partner. So this feeling of like, you're here for me today, but you might not be here for me tomorrow. I already have been through this, lost someone, broken a connection, and I don't want to experience that again. Ooh. I think a lot of these fears are based off of like, which is true for most things, like based off of either past experiences that you personally had or experiences that you witnessed. Like when I think about children of divorce, like their fear of commitment is so tied to what they saw as a result of their parents' divorce. Like they don't want to experience that for themselves firsthand, and they don't want to experience that for any children that they potentially have. So sometimes it's not even you.
Adele made a whole song about it.
No, that poor
little boy.
I don't know I don't know if I feel like anybody's poor.
Yeah, nobody's poor in that family.
No, big bucks. Okay, the next one is a fear of losing the spark. Things are good now, but they might not be good in the future. I like your butt now, but I might not like it 10 years from now.
I also think that's probably more of a if you were to gender it, I think that's more of a fear on the guy's side.
Really? I did not think you were going to say that. Tell me more. You were afraid to lose the spark?
Maybe not in that way, but I'm thinking of like all the conversations that guys have, like, hey, everything good in the beginning, but at the end, you know what I'm saying? Like, it dry up, my boy. You know what I'm saying? Like the sex, the sex decreases, and as you go along, y'all was swinging from the rafters when y'all started. By the end of the day, you gotta beg and plead just to get a little. So I guess I'm speaking specifically for like the sex. But yeah, I would say that I personally think men have a larger worry or concern about the spark dying out. They probably wouldn't say the spark, but I think the general fear, if so, factors into like the spark, that everything starts out well, and then you just turn into
your roommate.
Yeah, like a roommate. Or you just hear. Like the unhappy husband that just has to be there, and it's just like I'm just here, just off duty alone, and I'm just not happy, but I'm not gonna leave. But I'm just I think that's a valid. It is valid, and also I think is a pretty big fear that guys probably have experience, or I think most guys would admit that like that is a concern, especially at the beginning of the relationship, maybe even during the relationship. But I think it's a real one.
Yeah, I don't know if I thought that you were gonna. Well, I definitely didn't think that you were gonna say men, but I hear what you're saying of this idea that there is, I guess, like I was gonna say mythology, but I guess it's more like, what's that thing? A popularly held belief.
Mm-hmm. A popularly held belief, like a word for that.
Mm-hmm. Urban legend, I guess, is maybe what I'm thinking, but I don't even know if that's right. But anyway, it's popularly held belief that your relationship is going to change for the negative over time, especially from the man's perspective, that some of the benefits that you were receiving by being in this relationship are going to decrease, and that decrease signifies a loss of spark, or like a loss of value in the relationship.
Yeah, like we worry that our woman, they was fine when we met her, and then had a kid. So it's the fear that as a man, you're not allowed to stop being the things that you were when you got your partner. But it's kind of understood that your partner, like the woman, is going to deteriorate. Now, not deteriorate, that's a strong word. My apologies to y'all. I'm sorry, that wasn't the right word. I shouldn't have used that one. I'm sorry. Don't kill me. What I meant to say is there's kind of a begrudgingly understood that women may kind of
change.
There we go. Change in a manner that I guess the guy wouldn't like, I guess, or and it's just part of life, you know what I'm saying? Because like guys, you're not allowed to really say, like, I want my woman to be fit through our whole relationship. Like, I understand that, you're going to get pregnant. That's going to come with weight gain and things of that nature. But like, I want you to stay within a few percentage points of where I met you within an acceptable amount of time for you to get right. If a guy says that, they finna get lit up because like, you don't understand women's bodies and da 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 da. I don't know. But on the flip side, I don't think there's too many. I haven't heard as much women being like, I have that same fear about, I got my man, he had a 6-pack, 20 years later, he got the beer gut. That's not.
We kind of like it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like the dope boy body. Like
that's not
it. It's kind of popular. It seems like it's popular.
Dad bod is popular. The dope boy body has the skinniest legs and a little lean in the. I don't like.
So
it.
I guess I would wonder what is it about the dad bod that women like find attractive.
You eat, I eat, we eat.
I guess
I saw a comedian say that like, he look like he be eating.
That's true. So chubby fellas, you know what I'm saying, y'all can make it work as long as y'all got the, so we can make it happen as long as we got that, we got the riz as the young folks would say,
sturdy.
So that's why I would mostly say that the fear is mostly on the men's side when it comes to the fear of the spark, dying out.
Okay, valid, Khaled. Commitment we already talked about. Discovering a deal breaker is the last one.
Discovering a deal breaker that you didn't know you had? Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
Says falling in love with someone and discovering something about them that you just can't get over.
I think that's, if you're going to gender it, I think that's probably falls closer to on the woman's side, in my opinion.
We don't have to gender it though. I'll put you back in front of the firing squad.
Fine. No.
But let me see. I can attest to like having that fear of like, okay, I want to know everything that I can know so that way I'm not surprised by something. But because people are going to change, because I'm going to change, because you're going to change, I don't think that fear serves you, because the deal breaker might not happen year 1, year 2, but it might happen later. And hopefully when it does happen, or if it does happen to the sense of like it's just a difference of opinion or a difference in desire, you'll have learned how to compromise. Like you'll have had opportunities before you get to this quote unquote deal breaker, to learn how your partner thinks, understand their perspective, and understand how, like what we talked about in the last episode, how to like hold both things within yourself. Like instead of being like, I want this and you want this, you're my opposition. Like, why does this person want this other thing? What are they hoping to get out of it? How can I hold like what they want and what I want in the same hand for us to be able to get? Is there any wiggle room for me to be able to accommodate them and like let them have this thing that they want? Or do we need to reach some compromise that leaves both of us like satisfied? And hopefully you'll have had practice with that. And if you haven't, it'll be a great opportunity for you to practice those skills.
That's fair. You know, what would have been considered a deal breaker in like year 1 or less, probably may not be a deal breaker in like year 10. It might be like a brake situation, like let's pump the brakes, let's slow down a little bit here, like, or speed bump or something like that. But it may not necessarily be a deal breaker. So I guess it would depend on what the deal breaker was, I guess. But yeah, I think all of that is very dependent, circumstance dependent, which is probably true of most things.
Yeah, everything. It requires a little bit of context for us to know what's going on. What's twalking. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay. Boy, that nose is running down the street. All right, well, we can wrap this up here. Dang, that was her breathing through her nose. Ooh.
Gross. It's something about being in this room, babe. I swear. The fan doesn't need to be on. I'm pretty sure it's not.
I need it for me. I feel the heat. This fan is keeping away burly. You're gonna need to close these blinds so the sun doesn't be in here.
Maybe you said that 2 weeks ago.
Did I say that?
Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna do it after this. All right, y'all.
Final food for thought.
Final food for thought.
You was about to
I was about to wrap it up on them,
and we out.
Final food for thought.
You want me to go first?
Go first, please.
Okay. My final food for final food for thought is to not let fear rule you. Fear exists. It's a natural part of life. But usually we are fearing something that's unknown. Like, you can't know it. You can't control it. You can't do anything with the fear. So acknowledge it. Like, recognize that it exists. And then move forward. Because if you let it rule you, let it control you, you can't do nothing. You might as well just crawl into a hole.
Ooh. With that being said, it reminded me of... Oh yeah, the clip that what we saw today with the Breakfast Club with 85 South coming in with DC was talking about the situation. What was it say that you can either, was it him who said it? I don't know. I think it might have been them. It was saying that like you can either you can either wait to die or live and let it come to you, or something along those lines. Like you gonna die, so you can either fear it, stay still, and don't live, and then death's gonna take you, and you never live, or live your life, and then just know that death is gonna take you, but at least it's gonna catch you while you living. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I do. It was something like that.
Yeah, something along those lines. Damn, y'all should go watch that.
It was
very good.
Interview. I was gonna say episode, but that's not right. It was a good interview. Yeah, it's not all comedy. It's very little comedy, more real world, more like sharing their life experiences, which was cool.
All right. That being said, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Buffet Podcast, episode 97. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button, and go ahead and hit the little bell button so you can be notified of any future episodes, because you bangs with us heavy.
The long way.
You bangs with us the long way. All right, y'all. Anything last thing?
Thank y'all for listening and laughing with us. We're so grateful to have you. Your time is precious. You do not have an infinite amount of time. So we're grateful that you took the time out to listen to us. And we hope you gained something from it. And we'll see y'all
glad you got some value out of this
next week.
Peace.